Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Good morning everyone. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9. Today we are going to read text 51 onwards. Does anyone remember any main point from yesterday?
Hare Krishna. Yeah,
Hare
yesterday
Krishna.
Prahlāda Maharaj spoke that we have weeds of sinful actions, anarthas, in our hearts like greed, anger, jealousy, etc. And we can take them out simply by engaging in devotional service. Krishna can only be understood only by devotional service. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Bhaktya ma abhijanati. And the same even in Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme Godhead personally says, Bhaktya ham ekaya grahya. One can understand the original cause of all causes, the Supreme Person, only by devotional service. That's the only way.
Yeah, thank you so
Hare Krishna.
much. Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll go on to today's text 51. Shri Narada Vacha
Srinārada Uvacha
Etavad Varnita Guno
Etavad Varnita Guno
Bhaktya Bhaktena Nirgunaha
Bhaktya Bhaktena Nirgunaha
Praharadam Pranatam Prito
Praradam Pranatam Prito
Yata Manyur Abhashata.
Tamanyur Abhasata.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The great Saint Narad said, thus Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva was pacified by the devotee Prahlāda Maharaj with prayers offered from the transcendental platform. The Lord gave up his anger and being very kind to Prahlāda, who was offering
Hare Krishna.
prostrated obeisances. Hare Krishna.
There's some noise in the background.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah, now it's better. Thank you, Hare
oh,
Krishna.
all right. Okay, thank you. So, thus Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva was pacified by the devotee Prahlāda Maharaj with prayers offered from the transcendental platform. The Lord gave up his anger and being very kind to Prahlāda, who was offering prostrated obeisances, he spoke as follows. The word Nirguna is important. The Mayavadi philosophers accept the absolute truth as Nirguna or Nirakar. The word Nirguna refers to one who possesses no material qualities. The Lord, being full of spiritual qualities, gave up all his anger and spoke to Prahlāda. So, in relation to absolute truth, how is Nirguna explained?
Full of spiritual qualities, transcendental.
No material qualities.
Yes, that's right. Nirguna, no material qualities. Thank you. Okay, Shri Bhagwan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Bhagwan Vacha
Prahlāda Bhadra Bhadram Te
Prahlāda Bhadra Bhadram Te
Prito Ham Te Surotama
Prito Aham Te Surotama
Varam Vrinishvabhimatam
Varam Vrineshwabhitam Matam
Kama Purosmi Aham Nirnam.
Kama Puro Asmi Aham Ninam.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Prahlāda, most gentle one, best of the family of the Asuras, all good fortune unto you. I am very much pleased with you. It is my pastime to fulfill the desires of all living beings, and therefore you may ask from me any benediction that you desire to be fulfilled. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Bhaktavatsal, the Supreme Personality of who is very much affectionate to his devotees. Bhaktavatsal, what does Bhaktavatsal mean?
He loves his devotees very much.
Yes, loves his devotees very much. It is not very extraordinary that the Lord offered his devotee all benedictions. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said in effect, I fulfill the desires of everyone. Since you are my devotee, whatever you want for yourself will naturally be given. But if you pray for anyone else, that prayer also will be fulfilled. So, Prabhupada is explaining that Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva is telling Prahlāda, you ask me anything you want. You ask me for yourself, I'm going to fulfill that. You ask me for others, I will fulfill that. Thus, if we approach the Supreme Lord or his devotee, or if we are blessed by a devotee, naturally, we will automatically achieve the benedictions of the Supreme Lord. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasada. Shla Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that if one pleases the Vaishnava spiritual master, all of one's desires will be fulfilled. So, to please the Supreme Lord, we please the spiritual master. That's what Guru Ashtakam we are singing every day. Shla Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasada. That's the easiest way to please the Lord. So Bhaktavatsal, today I posted on our morning chat the story of this devotee of Lord Jagannath. That Lord Jagannath, he stopped his chariot for his devotee, Salabek. Salabek, his devotee, had so much love for Jagannath, and he wrote to Jagannath, please wait for me, I'm very sick. I want to see you. He couldn't enter the Jagannath temple because he was born in non-Hindu family, but he had the desire. And Rath Yatra was going on. And he was on his way from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri, and he felt sick. And so he wrote to the Lord, and the Lord listened to his prayers. The Lord waited for him to come. He had so much eagerness to see the Lord, so much devotion he had, that he wanted to eagerly see Lord Jagannath. And it seems still today, Jagannath stops by, the Ratha stops by the tomb of Salabeg. It seems that his tomb is made on the on the path, on the route of the Rath Yatra. The Rath passes from there, and it seems still today the Rath stops there. So Bhaktavatsal, Krishna fulfills the desires of the devotee. Did anyone want to share any other very any other pastime of the Lord like that? Bhaktavatsal.
Even like how Rukmani Devi ji, even without knowing Krishna, he wrote the letters to Krishna, and Krishna came for her.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. She had never seen Krishna. Krishna had never seen her. She only heard about him. She wrote him the letter and he came to kidnap her. Yeah. So really, Krishna fulfills our desires. Okay. If no other, then we'll go on to the next one. Mam aprinata ayushman.
Mam aparinata ayushman.
Darshanam durlabham hime.
Darshanam durlabham hime.
Drishtva mam na punarjantum. Jantur.
Drishtva mam na punarjantu.
Atmanam taptum arhati.
Atmanam taptum arhati.
My dear Prahlad, may you live a long time. One cannot appreciate or understand me without pleasing me. But one who has seen or pleased me has nothing more for which to lament for his own satisfaction. One cannot be happy under any circumstances unless one pleases the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But one who has learned how to please the Supreme Lord need no longer lament for his material condition. So even the Lord is saying the same thing. Prahlad Maharaj earlier said that the only way to be happy is devotional service. Devotional service is performed to please the Lord. The Lord is also saying here the same thing, that if one has pleased me, then he has nothing more to hanker. There's no more hankering. There's no more lamentation. He is satisfied. He is happy. One who has pleased me becomes happy. And we just heard how to please the Lord. Please the Vaishnav. Okay. Prinantihi athamam dhira
Prinantihi athamam dhiraha
sarva bhavena sadhava
sarvabhavena sadhavaha
shreyas kama mahabhaga
shreyaskama mahabhaga
sarvasam ashisham patim.
sarvasham ashisham patim.
My dear Prahlad, you are very fortunate. Please know from me that those who are very wise and highly elevated try to please me in all different modes of mellows. For I am the only person who can fulfill all the desires of everyone. The words dhira sarva bhavena do not mean in whichever way you like. Bhava is the preliminary condition of love of Godhead. Atha shakti statho bhavas tatha prema bhiyun danchati sadhakanam ayam premna pradurbhave bhavet kramaha. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.4.16. Bhava stage is the final division before one reaches love of Godhead. The word Sarva Bhava means that one can love the Supreme Personality of Godhead in different transcendental modes of mellows, beginning with Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. In the Shanta stage, one is on the border of loving service to the Lord. Pure love of Godhead begins from Dasya and develops to Sakhya, Vatsalya, and then Madhurya. So in neutrality, Shanta, it is one is has awe and reverence for the Lord. One has not yet begun service, but one has understood that, oh, Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but not yet begun the service. That's Shanta. Then Dasya begins to serve the Lord. Then, of course, going on to Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Still, in any of these five mellows, one can render loving service to the Supreme Lord. Since our main business is to love the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can render service from any of the above mentioned platforms of love. So, loving Krishna. He's saying, I'm the person who can fulfill all the desires. I'm the only person. We are thinking, I will be happy if I do this. I will be happy if I go there. I will be happy if I see this. I'll be happy with this one or that one or whatever. We make so many things in our mind. But actually, we can truly be happy when we please Krishna, when we engage in devotional service. Krishna is the only one. He's saying, I'm the only person who can fulfill all the desires of everyone. We are thinking this one is my shelter, that one is my shelter, this one will protect me, that one will fulfill my desires. But actually, it's only Krishna who is our ultimate shelter. Ultimate shelter. Others are instruments. We can't disregard the people. We can't disregard anyone. But they're all instruments in the hands of Krishna. So ultimate shelter is Krishna. Any comments? Okay. Shri Narada Vacha
Srimad
Evam Pralobhyamanopi
Evam pralobhyamanopi
Varer Loka Pralobhane
Vare loka pralobhane
Ekantitvad Bhagavati
Ekantitvad bhagavati
Bhagavati
Nechatan Asurotamaha.
Nechattan asurutamaha.
Narad Muni said Prahlad Maharaj was the best person in the family of Asuras, who always aspire for material happiness. Nonetheless, although allured by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who offered him all benedictions for material happiness, because of his unalloyed Krishna consciousness, he did not want to take any material benefit for sense gratification. Pure devotees like Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruv Maharaj do not aspire for any material benefit at any stage of devotional service. When the Lord was present before Dhruva Maharaj, Dhruva did not want to take any material benefit from the Lord. Swamin Katharthosmi Varam na yache. As a pure devotee, he could not ask the Lord for any material benefit. Dhruva, when he saw the Lord, he said, I was running behind broken pieces of glass, but here now I have found you. I don't need anything else. But the Lord said, still, you had a desire before. So let me fulfill that desire so people can know, yes, that I fulfill desires also, I am the only one who can fulfill all the desires. So the Lord gave him his own love, also fulfilled his desire, gave him Dhruva Lok, the pole star. In this regard, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed us, Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitamba jagad isha kamaye mama janmani janmani ishvare bhavatad bhaktir ahaituki tvai. O my Lord Jagadish, I do not pray for benedictions by which to achieve material wealth, popularity, or beauty. My only desire is to serve you. Kindly engage me in the service of the servant of your servant. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 7th canto, 9th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled, Prahlāda pacifies Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva with prayers. Nṛsiṁha Bhagavan ki jai, Prahlāda Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
So we finished the 9th chapter. This was the prayers offered by Prahlāda Maharaj. Any realizations? Anyone wanted to say anything about this chapter that we just read?
Hare Krishna. The Lord
Hare Krishna.
Himself is saying that the easiest way to please me, serve my devotee and just associate and you'll be happy.
Yeah.
So it assures that when we are in association of devotees, when we are serving them, dasanudasa, dasanudasa, so that's the right thing we are doing.
Yeah. That's right. It is what it is. Yes.
So this is so beautiful that whichever story we pick and read from Srimad Bhagavatam, it is more and more assurance is done, a stamped assurance is there. In every story, it is the same thing.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Any more? Anyone wanted to add anything? No? Let's see. Prabhupada puts a summary. Okay, this is a short summary of the coming chapter. Let's try to read that. Chapter 10, I'll read the summary. Prahlāda, the best among exalted devotees. This chapter describes how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nṛsiṁhadeva, disappeared after pleasing Prahlāda Maharaj. It also describes a benediction given by Lord Shiva. Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva wanted to bestow benedictions upon Prahlāda Maharaj one after another. But Prahlāda Maharaj, thinking them impediments on the path of spiritual progress, did not accept any of them. Instead, he fully surrendered at the Lord's lotus feet. He said, "If anyone engaged in the devotional service of the Lord prays for personal sense gratification, he cannot be called a pure devotee or even a devotee. He may be called only a merchant engaged in the business of give and take." Similarly, a master who wants to please his servant after taking service from him is also not a real master. Prahlāda Maharaj therefore did not ask anything from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, he said that if the Lord wanted to give him a benediction, he wanted the Lord to assure him that he would never be induced to take any benedictions for the sake of material desires. Exchanges of devotional service for lusty desires are always very prominent. As soon as lusty desires awaken, one's senses, mind, life, soul, religious principles, patience, intelligence, shyness, beauty, strength, memory, and truthfulness are all vanquished. One can render unalloyed devotional service only when there are no material desires in one's mind. So, pure devotional service because there's no more material desire, even no desire for liberation, even no desire for the siddhis. The Supreme Personality of Godhead was greatly pleased with Prahlāda Maharaj for his unalloyed devotion. Yet the Lord provided him one material benediction, that he would be perfectly happy in this world and live his next life in Vaikuntha. The Lord gave him the benediction that he would be the king of this material world until the end of the Manvantara millennium, and that although in this material world he would have the facility to hear the glories of the Lord and depend fully on the Lord, performing service to him in uncontaminated bhakti yoga. The Lord advised Prahlāda to perform sacrifices through bhakti yoga, for this is the duty of a king. Prahlāda Maharaj accepted whatever the Lord had offered him, and he prayed for the Lord to deliver his father. In response to this prayer, the Lord assured him that in the family of such a pure devotee as he, not only the devotee's father, but his forefathers for 21 generations are liberated. The Lord also asked Prahlāda to perform the ritualistic ceremonies appropriate after his father's death. Then Lord Brahma, who was also present, offered many prayers to the Lord, expressing his obligation to the Lord for having offered benedictions to Prahlāda Maharaj. The Lord advised Lord Brahma not to offer benedictions to asuras as he had to Hiranyakashipu, for such benedictions indulged them. Then Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva disappeared. On that day, Prahlāda Maharaj was installed on the throne of the world by Lord Brahma and Shukracharya. Thus, Narad Muni described the character of Prahlāda Maharaj for Yudhishthir Maharaj, and he further described the killing of Ravan by Lord Ramachandra and the killing of Shishupal and Dandavakar in Dwapar Yuga. Shishupal, of course, had merged into the existence of the Lord and thus achieved Sayujya Mukti. Narad Muni praised Yudhishthir Maharaj because the Supreme Lord Krishna was the greatest well-wisher and friend of the Pandavas and almost always stayed in their house. Thus, the fortune of the Pandavas was greater than that of Prahlāda Maharaj. Later, Narad Muni described how the demon Mayadana constructed Tripur for the demons, who became very powerful and defeated the demigods. Because of this defeat, Lord Rudra Shiva dismantled Tripura. Thus he became famous as Tripurari. For this, Rudra is very much appreciated and worshipped by the demigods. This narration occurs at the end of the chapter. So, very interesting chapter coming up. We are going to go detailed verse by verse into it tomorrow onwards. So, we'll stop here for today. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you so much for listening and joining in. Hare Krishna.